this journaling ecosystem, I'll be sharing with you what helps me at the moment as I'm recovering from autistic burnout. What do we have here? Let's start with beautiful, beautiful notebook first. This notebook is a Paper Republic lip portfolio. I'm so attached to this. It comes with me everywhere I go. If I leave my house without it, I feel naked and just unstable. I think it's the comfort of knowing that I can always land here safely, just show up with however I'm feeling in the moment. So I have this really, really cute charm from Pandora. I believe it was from the Game of Thrones collection, and I just thought it looked phenomenal with the rest of the journal, so I had to pick it up. It was on sale, luckily, as well. And so the insights in here have changed a little bit because as you live, you learn, and you realize that some systems might work for you at one time, and then you'll evolve and you'll grow out of your current system. And I used to think that that was like a sign of failure, like, oh, I keep not getting the right system for me. But honestly, it's just a beautiful process of saying, oh, you know what? I actually think I need something else. And that's not a bad thing because we're evolving all the time and growing, hopefully. We might feel really stuck, but then you look back on the things you've outgrown and you realize, hold on, there's been a lot more growth than you notice sometimes, right? Right, so in here, this little Stalogy A6 Slim used to be in here. This was my Commonplace, just a Commonplace journal. And I just really like the Stalogy notebooks. Their design is super sleek. It feels contemporary yet also retro at the same time. I love the way it feels. I really enjoy softcover journals because they just, I have a feeling that they just stay in better shape. I feel that they stay in better shape overall. A funny thing was that I met my best friend a while ago, and she is the complete opposite. She's also a writer and a musician, and we went to school together. And she has a love for stationery notebooks as well, but we're the complete opposite when it comes to our tools. Like she loves hardcovers and certain type of paper, and I love soft covers all the way. For me, hardcovers, I don't know what it is. I just chuck my notebooks around, you know, and then suddenly I fish them out of my bag, and then the corners are chipped or it's falling apart already. And I just don't have that with soft covers for some reason. So yeah. But this is a Commonplace that I had in here. It's full now. And recently I went on a trip, and then this was the only notebook that was in here. This is really why I love this journal so much, because yes, I love having a Commonplace, but it feels like somehow I always want to have a think when I put something in here, because I want to present it in a way that I would like to reference later on. So I might take a little bit longer to you know, find a good spot to write in, and you know, spend some time on making it look presentable to myself, and not making a spread or anything, but just trying to make my handwriting not shit. So taking the time to write. But with this is a catch-all and a captain's log, and it's meant to just hunt every little thought, which is why this notebook is called My Little Hunter. And I got this idea from someone called Aldi John, and thank you so much, Aldi, because it's been really, really helpful, especially when you're ruminating and you just have these spirals in your head, and you know deep down that that's not the truth. But it's so hard to break out of the spiral sometimes. And my way of doing that was to just anytime I felt a little bit inspired by something, I would write it down. Something that I would like to research later or want to be reminded of. I would just write it down, every single little thing. Um, so mostly it's kind of collecting sparks and kind of bookmarks of things that I want to, like videos I want to watch back later on. And I can sort of see with the captain's log as well, kind of like what I've been doing that day and maybe where these ideas come from, or what projects I've been working on. So it's really nice to look back on and just feel like, oh, there's something that I wanted to remember but I don't remember. So I come back to this one and she's always there for me. And then this used to be right here. So really it was just these three in the beginning. And she was really chunky, but I didn't mind that. For a recent trip, I had a completely different setup. That video is out already, you can watch it here. But yeah, this one is normally in here too, and this is my everything journal relating to the book I'm writing, the novel that I'm writing. So it has research, it has blurbs and ideas and just random conversations with my characters that just drop into my head out of nowhere, so I can just plop down and write them all in here. So I designated Midori A6, and I really, really, really love the Midori notebooks. They just feel amazing and they lie flat when writing. Even though normally I have a Penco clip, it's probably in my bag somewhere, but it's just nice when your notebook wants to work with you. It's a tiny luxury, right? So yeah, this is normally in there. And the trip that I took there, I got this new catch-all because this one is almost full, so this will be replacing this one. And I'm going to try and divide this one up into my catch-all, captain's log, and then also a to-do list, maybe, because I want to become a little bit more organized and I'm feeling a little bit more energy coming back. For those of you who know what it's like to be in a burnout, I feel you. It seems never ending. It seems sometimes you can get really low self-image or feel a lot of shame for not being able to do the things that you were able to do in the past. And I felt like it was really hard to just give myself grace and not compare with the rest of the world and people my age and what I should be doing. So if you're there right now, I feel you. You're not alone. It feels sometimes so impossible to keep going or to have hope for a better day, for a different version of you that you might ever grow into a person that you recognize a bit more again. I'm here to tell you that it really does get better. If you can focus on things that help you grow, you will get better. One of the ways that journaling has helped me in that way is literally by writing everything down, not just the negative things, but also the things that inspire me, right? And kind of like just making a captain's log instead of a planning, so I can just see at the end of the day how I use my energy, resources, and what my brain was doing for that day. Because you might know, like, if you do plan something when you're just in the middle of a burnout, it sometimes just makes things worse because you put extra pressure on yourself and you're just not there. You're just not able to do the smallest things. The smallest tasks feel like climbing a huge mountain, and it's especially hard to explain that to friends or to parents or to family if they don't, if they have not lived through it, or if they don't respect mental health. Unfortunately, I'm from a family where mental health is not real, even though they're very mentally ill, very traumatized. They just would never um, acknowledge it. And that can be really difficult, right? So, having a place where you can be seen or be seen by yourself without judgment is so healing, really. So, this is just an unfiltered log of what goes on in my brain, right? On a daily basis. So, this will eventually replace this one. A passport in here, my bank cards. That's my little hunter. Okay, moving on. This is my gratitude notebook. I'm not consistent with this at all, but I realized that our brain does have a knack to confirm the bias that we might subconsciously carry with us. You might recognize that when you are in a depressive episode, your brain will emphasize more negative things to confirm its bias that everything is shit right now. But that is the trick of the brain. Even though we really feel like we don't want to, or that it's inauthentic, it's worth it for the future you to practice noticing things outside of that. Not avoiding or ignoring the things that you feel right now, but also understanding that that's not the full picture, right? Because we need duality. There can't be light without the dark, and vice versa. So when we feel like our lens has been tainted, let's say for 90%, we understand somewhere logically that maybe we are going through it. Maybe it might make sense to spend a little bit more time on a journaling technique like gratitude journaling, or like stem journaling, which is something that I will talk about in a little bit. So yeah, I completely understand when it feels too inauthentic if you force yourself to think positive or to just recognize positive things, but I do think it's worth practicing that. Also, when it's so small, it might be less intimidating. So this was my line of thinking, and I must say it does work. So, gratitude journal, and then let's go here. These are my morning pages. This is a Leuchtturm. To be honest, I'm not quite sure what size this is. This is definitely not an A5. I'm considering going to an A5. I really ordered some really nice goodies, some new stationery. So I'm looking forward to actually transferring my morning pages practice into my A5 journal. I think it will give me just that sense of ease, to be honest, having started with my morning pages in this. For those who don't know what morning pages are, it's a technique that is made popular by Julia Cameron. If you've seen this cover with the artist's way, that's her take on how to get back to your creativity. And it has some extremely valuable tips in there, and I would recommend it to everyone. Even if you don't identify with being an artist, you're an artist of your own life, right? So it will help you just uncover what you would really want, or give you maybe like a clearer purpose. One of the things that she swears by is to do morning pages. So every morning, first thing you do out of bed is you write 3 pages, a stream of consciousness. Your pen should not be leaving the page, honestly, and you shouldn't be judging what you're writing at all. There's no editing, nothing. It's just you, the paper, and you're not even supposed to read it right away. So after a while, you understand that there are certain things that come back to you, or you will recognize some patterns in your writing. And over time, you can distill like the crazy writings, or the writing that might seem crazy at first. And over time, you will understand, oh, so this is actually what I'm craving, or this is what I need. And your own writing will uncover that in time. And it's a really lovely exercise to give yourself that time with yourself, to not let the day kind of toss you around, to just have time to let your stream of consciousness out, to not judge it, and maybe to even set an intention. This is where I love to set an intention right after I'm done with my morning pages, and naturally then it will move into a really small meditation, and I will go skating for a little bit. That's now my morning routine. The reason why she urges you to do them in the morning is because in the evening, after you've had your day, you might be tempted to complain or to notice things that went wrong, right? In the morning, you're fresh, nothing's happened, you have a whole day in front of you. It's a more holistic and balanced way of writing because there's nothing that has soiled your day yet. And yeah, that was it for the artist's way. I do really recommend this to people. I know that when you feel like you're at rock bottom and you may not have energy and you don't have hope or belief that anything can get better again, adding more routines to your day might feel impossible and just frustrating, right? But if you start small, your body will already notice that you're trying, that you're actively, intentionally strengthening the relationship with yourself. That just any type of activity that you do to give yourself space is healing, and it's building trust with yourself again, right? Because how many times have we lost that with ourselves, and we've been lost and we don't really know how to get back to ourselves? I think noticing just what soup of thoughts that we wade through every day is so crucial, and this is what journaling really helps with, right? So morning pages I totally recommend. And here we have kind of my everyday journal. This is my traveler's notebook. Right, I don't know if I mentioned, this is my Leuchtturm. Yeah, I really love this brand because they have like the contents page in here, and I used to write this, I used to do this myself in every blank notebook I had. And when I got my first Leuchtturm notebook, I was really pleasantly surprised at like, oh my gosh, I don't have to do that. I don't have to number the pages because it's already done for me. That's really nice. And then we have my traveler's notebook. I had a really cute pendant on here, but it snapped off. That's alright. There's still this adorable koi fish. I love koi fish. They're so calming to look at. I got a little D-Day photo card. I'm not really a photo card person, though I respect Army that are. But yeah, very adorable picture. I got this from other Army at concert. It's very sweet, and I love to keep that memento just in here. This is my calendar, my weekly calendar, and I also track my habits. I'm not really religious with it, to be honest. I'm giving myself that slack right now. This is my everything journal, really. It has what I'm reading, what I want to read, my TBR. It has book reviews, it has memories, it has everything. And I just really like this. It has I love to make my own oils with like specific fragrances, a little bit of homeopathy. So I made like a rose oil, kind of inspired by one of my favorite perfumes. And in here there are also journaling exercises that I enjoy doing, like the 5% more stems. This is a great one for, like I said, you want to prime your brain maybe to notice more positive things, or to give yourself a bit more wiggle room in your head to stay away from judgment. You can pick one of these stems. If you Google 5% more stems, you'll definitely find the creator. You can find these stems online, or you can make them yourself. For example, here, finish the stem. You finish it in 6 different ways and without really any thinking. So just like the morning pages, you just start writing until you finish the 6th outcome, 6th ending. So 9, if I boost my energy level by 5% today, I'd sleep better, I'd have more clarity, I'd feel more hope, I'd be more playful, I'd see more opportunities, be more grounded and confident, I have more potential of getting fit. Yeah. So these are great if you're an all or nothing person and you kind of just want to give yourself grace by focusing on really incremental steps, and it all starts with thinking. So if you give yourself that space to think a little bit more positively, you might eventually start to feel that you could take on another habit or increase that workout of 5 minutes and incrementally enjoy the process and prime your brain for that as well. So I recommend this journaling technique. And then because I'm also a singing teacher, I like to still like research about techniques every once in a while just to keep myself fresh and updated with new like exercises or new research on singing. Yeah, so this is truly an everything journal, and it has all my book reviews. I read a lot of books last month in June. July not so much, but in June I read Aqua Viva. I read The River Has Roots, The Six Deaths of the Saint, which I really enjoyed. I started reading Just Kids by Patti Smith. It's really lovely. And then the last insert in here, these are all just traveling company notebooks. These are my rituals, like my spiritual archive. So the meditations that I like to go back to, morning rituals that I've really enjoyed. And usually with morning rituals, I kind of envy people who get to be so like structured and routinely. Like I'm not that person, even though I want to be. The one thing that I have been able to do consistently is to just have really gentle stretching in the morning. I've been skating a lot more. I've been breathing. I've been journaling a lot more, obviously, and I've been making videos because I've always wanted to make videos. So here we are. Yeah, and then I have a little craft folder. So in the end, I believe that if you're a person that has a lot of thoughts, having a journal is grand. And you don't need any leather journal or any fancy Leuchtturm or moleskin journals. You can just pick up any old notebook from anywhere for like €1 or €3 or something, and then you have a notebook and you can just write to observe what you're thinking. And the real flex is to then not judge yourself, to create a safe space, to be the safe space that you may have never had. And I think that act of self-love is one worth practicing. It's not always easy, but that's why you can always come back to these videos and hopefully feel encouraged to love yourself. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.